Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and today is going to be something slightly different. I did have another video I wanted to do today, but I can't hold off saying this any longer because it's something that's eating away at my very soul. So this is going to be an important update on the channel about where we are, what we're doing, about everybody's roles in life. It's going to be hard to hear, but good to listen to, I think. Possibly, I don't know. Just please listen and don't get, fed up, and don't click off, because I want you to hear everything that I've got to say, and it may be the last time that I say it. So, please, without further ado, let's get into the video, and this is what I have to say. When I started this channel, it was for two reasons. Firstly, to shine a light on child exploitation, well, in particular regarding the Inghams, obviously. As many of you know, my channel grew off the back of talking about the Inghams. I have no regrets about that, but whilst this is how I grew fairly quickly, because it grew, in my opinion, quite quickly. I mean, not as quick as maybe I'd like, but it was pretty good for a time there. So while it is how I grew the channel off the back of the Inghams, it is also the cause of the channel's ultimate downfall. As I grew a cult-like following, the very thing I've said about Chris and Sarah, the hate grew too. I've already discussed at length the finer details of the hate the kids of YouTube families receive and why it's wrong. I won't go over it again, just to say that it's just wrong on every level to hate on the kids. Obviously, I don't think I should have to explain why that's wrong, but for some people it's necessary. However, I've mentioned this before, but even I've gone back on what I've said without realizing it. For that, I apologize. That is, by talking about narcissists such as Chris and Sarah, they use their kids to incite hate. So even if the kids are never mentioned ever again by the haters, Chris and Sarah will continue to put their kids' lives at risk, or just simply continue to film their kids to spite everyone else, to provoke conversation, to keep themselves relevant. So by continuing to talk about them, we are giving them what they want and subsequently harming the kids. And it's not just the Inghams who do this. So many family vloggers will keep posting because they see themselves being talked about. Take the Doherty Dozen, for example. Everyone's talking about Alicia Doherty. Those who talk about her even say she's using her kids to reply to the haters. So why do you keep talking about her if not for the money? Because the more times you talk about them, the more views you're going to get, the more money you're going to get. And I'm not expelling myself from that particular criticism either, because obviously I know that the Inghams get me more views than any other video, so it has made a lot more sense to post more about the Inghams than anything else, because it's got me more views and ultimately it's a bigger payday. And I'm not saying that I just do it for the money, but there's an obvious incentive there to do that, and any YouTuber does it. They see what works best, what has more views, and they do that more often. But my point is protecting the kids. If you see that a certain channel are using your hate or your opinions to push their kids out more, then it no longer makes it any sense to talk about that channel, because what you're doing is making them talk about the kids more and push out the kids more, which is not what you want. So I'm just saying it eventually all comes down to money. Sarah posted something recently which is so true. She said about people talking about it's the Jace show, because Jace has been talked about a lot recently and shown a lot on camera and stuff like that. She says she's quoting people, poor girls are growing up and probably don't want a camera in the face. Give them some privacy. Then others say girls not featured as much. What the hell, you clearly don't even care about your older girls anymore. You never do anything with them. It's all Jace. And I 100% agree with what she's just said there. You can't complain when they show the girls and then complain when they don't, because in that sense they can't win. You can't say that you don't want them to show the girls for privacy reasons, but then complain about it if they don't show the girls. I'm not completely blameless in this either. I complain when the Inghams don't upload, and yet isn't it the ultimate goal for them not to upload? Isn't that what I'm supposed to want? So why do I complain if they don't upload when I actually don't want them to upload? Because that's supposed to be my goal. I want them not to film the kids and not to put their kids all over the internet. But why am I just so... Yeah. The Inghams have kind of got into my psyche so much over the past few years that I'm watching them and kind of hate watching them just for something to do and then something to talk about. But ultimately, if they don't upload, isn't that a good thing? So Sarah has a point to a certain degree, but she then went on to witter on about some things which kind of nullified her point, as Sarah does, because that was the only thing that she said that was actually agreeable. So you see, my point is that you can't complain when they do one thing, and then when they don't do that thing that you don't want them to do, you can't then find something else to complain about which contradicts what you've just complained about. At some point you have to take a look at yourself and say, well, what do I want, and what is my ultimate goal. And if your ultimate goal is not having the kids or the girls feature, and then that actually happens, you can't really complain. It's like, they're doing what you want. Yes, filming Jace more isn't the answer either, but I hope you see my point. I know what I'm trying to say. So, where do we go from here? I'm not sure, to be honest. Child exploitation still needs to be talked about, but I no longer think I'm the one to do it. I care a lot, but I can't promise to do it in a non-virtuous way. I don't want to become an arrogant, self-important twat whose only clear goal is to bring people down. Who knows, maybe that is the best way to spread the message. But sorry, that's not me. I just can't do that. Back to my original point. When I started out, it was for two reasons. The second being to share my work with anyone who was interested. Some of you may remember when I used to share my artwork in my intros and throughout the video. I enjoyed that because I felt it was an expression of myself. In a world where nobody cared about me as a person, discussing Inghams and such, it was a way to have or to leave my own legacy on my video. Additionally, I used my platform to showcase my writing where possible, such as these. In fact, most will remember the days where my commentary was nothing but text. Some were happy with this, but there's no doubt the channel could never have grown if I'd continued that way. I no longer feel connected to my channel. I don't feel happy doing videos or talking like this as I am right now. When I started talking in the videos, it opened a huge vulnerability for me. It was a huge step for me to do that, as some may know. But it's also left me open and vulnerable. As we always say, the internet is forever. Same for me. My voice is out there now forever. I know this will seem like a huge overreaction, a drama about nothing, but for me, letting people in and exposing myself to critique, ironically, isn't easy for me and is something I have struggled with my whole life. I no longer feel comfortable talking or sharing myself with others with the internet. I feel like I just can't do it anymore. I feel worried, I feel scared, I feel nervous and anxious and apprehensive. I'm second guessing everything I say or the way I say it. Nothing feels right anymore.